memory of Allison. So we talked for a little bit, and this sweet girl, Pam Oates, had a little business when her kids were young and she didn't work outside the house. She painted these angels and other things. She's very talented. And she had lots and lots of angels left over. So they moved with her many times, and her husband kept trying to get rid of them. And she said, no, I'm gonna do something good. And after Allison died, she said God came to her in a dream and said the angels are for Allison. We did know from the beginning where the money from the foundation would go. We were fortunate in that my husband had insurance on everyone, so therefore we had a way to pay for her funeral. But most families don't ever think they're going to bury a child, and most families aren't going to, thank God. But when it does happen, if you don't have insurance, it can be a financial burden.
We want every community to have an Angels for Allison so that there's not any kid anywhere that ever has a family that has to worry about paying for a funeral and burying a child.
I think Allison would be absolutely thrilled because she did enjoy helping people. She loved to volunteer and she loved to help others. So the fact that what we do at this place gives back to others it would make her smile.
See, that's the most heartening thing. It would make her smile. After the break, we're going to talk with Sissy Horn, the Executive Director of Angels for Allison. We'll be right back.
Harold is a person.
Do not be touched as a family member, a mom, a dad, a grandparent about the work that Angels for Allison is doing. Sissy Horn, who's the Executive Director, is here, along with Charles Chun, one of our management staff here at Channel 4 to present the award. We'll do that in just a second. I might talk with the lady first. You know, I have 4 boys. Christy has 3 girls. And as a parent, you sit back and you go, okay, I've got to have a will. At a certain point in your life, I've got to make sure that all the arrangements are made. But when you have a child, you don't think about it.
No, you don't. And I think it's hard for other people to wrap their head around it. I know when I was first involved with Angels and I would look at Drew and Lee and just try to imagine what they've been through, and you just can't even imagine.
And the reality is that so many of these families are so overcome by the grief, they don't even understand that there is, I don't want to sound insensitive here, there's a business aspect of dying. Somebody has to be laid to rest. And sometimes that means choosing a coffin. It means picking a plot. It means paying for a funeral home and everything that goes along with it. And it's expensive. And they're not ready for the financial burden.
No, they're not.
And that's where you step in.
That's where we step in, exactly. That's why one of the things that brought this about is there were several children killed in a car accident. They were leaving Ed White High School going to the beach, and Drew and Lee saw that, and the families were raising money trying to do car washes, and they thought no one should have to raise money and do car washes to bury a child. And they were fortunate, like Drew said in the piece, about being able to pay for Allison's funeral and getting it all covered. So they didn't want any other family to have to go through that. And we do receive notes and emails from the families, and it's very heart-touching to see what they say and how dark that time was for them. And you know, sometimes we'll do stillborn children, and they're like, we're ready to bring our baby home. We were not ready to bury our baby. We were, you know, we had a crib and all that. We were not anywhere, and just so distraught that that was one less thing they had to think about, was how they were going to pay. And we've also gotten a very good relationship with the funeral homes. So we have a person that liaisons with the funeral homes, and she is able to take care of some things and settle some of the things for the family, so even more they don't have to worry about it.
And Charles, the reality is that this group is making a Positively Jax difference, making a difference in so many lives.
Absolutely. I've known Drew and Lee for most of my life, actually, so this one's really near and dear to my life. So I'm just honored to be able to award you guys with this award. So on behalf of Channel 4 and all of our employees, we're excited to award you the Positively Jax Award for July.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sissy, I have to ask you, for the Haramis family, is it somewhat cathartic and somewhat healing knowing that everybody who knew Allison said she was an angel in life, that she's an angel in the afterlife as well?
Yes, yes. And I think, and one of the things that the Haramis family said when it all first happened, and I've heard this over and over again with other families that have written us, is they don't want their child forgotten. And this is a wonderful way that Allison's legacy will live on, and her name keeps going every day. So.
Yeah, and the reality is our loved ones live on in our hearts even when they pass from this earthly world. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
and
you.
for making a difference in people's lives.
Thank you.
Charles, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
Well, do you or someone you know something that's Positively Jax? Well, we'd like to hear about their story. Nominate them for our Positively Jax Award. Go to newsforjax.com. You'll find the Positively Jax page under the Community tab. Jen?